Dragon Ball Daima episode 15 review. All right, this episode was fine. It was good. There was some things, there are some criticisms and some good points. Like I mentioned, this episode was fine to me. So there's one big element of this two big elements I want to bring up. I want to start with the first one, which I don't think a lot of people thought of or really caught. That the little demon Bulma that I mentioned in the Easter eggs video. I was going to mention this in the Easter eggs video, but I wasn't sure that it was specifically who it was that I believed it was. So Goma asked the guest to go take the third eye from Hybis, right? Because he found out that Hybis had the third eye. And so he told the guest to figure out how to take the eye. And so later on in the episode, some random demon lady, the same color as the guest, mind you, comes and trades in her hat for the eye that Hybis had. And so she did, say later on that she felt a bit disrespected, not disrespected, but confused that he didn't want to kiss. But I'm thinking that this could be the guest, like in disguise. I'm thinking, and I'm not even alone in this. Like I mentioned in the, even Herms believes it, so I'm not even alone in this. But that was the first thing I thought, like this could be the guest in disguise. If you remember a few episodes back, it was Kaioshin, it was Shin who mentioned that the Gleans don't have genders. At the time, this just felt like a pointless lore drop, kind of like what Daima tends to do a lot in this series. But this, if this is their guest in disguise, well then that would make that lore drop from way back make it feel so impactful and so awesome, because it's like now you're using this to what's his face's advantage, the series' advantage, really. That's what you're doing. And so that'd be a cool idea if they were to do it. It's to some degree, I doubt it was, because I guess didn't have the third eye later on in the episode. But then again, that could be, the series could be tricking you, so, or she could just be a random lady and then they have to steal it, like she brings it to them. It could be one or the other. So it could be either or. But that's for that. There was one weird instance where they just had a jump cut out of nowhere where the narrator explained the whole third eye thing and how all that stuff happened, where Dabra, and yes, I'm using the name Dabra. A lot of people, well, there was a guy last week who tried to correct me and say, oh no, like when I said Deborah is his name in the dub, he says, oh no, they just pronounce it differently. Well, the reason why I call him Dabra is because that's what his name is based on. Abracadabra. Even his father's name is Abra. So Abra's correct, obviously, but Dabra is a more correct pronunciation of his name. So if you ever wondered why I called him Dabra, that's why. And what? The thief, the stolen. Yeah, so he stole the third eye from his dad, and so he could overthrow him. But the third eye landed in the hands of Hybis this way. I think this would have been cool. It would have been a cool explanation, but at the same time, like no one probably would have known if this was like this kind of started the series. Like, what if this was the promo to the series? Like this was in the episode 1. You have this dialogue, the third eye, blah 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 blah, Dabra, all that stuff, and then you lead into Goma's little plot. I think that would have like made things more confusing, but kind of interesting in a way. But I mean, that was cool. And then there was this, the only negative really, the jump cut thing was different, and it was like out of nowhere, but that wasn't bad. At least they explained something, and it wasn't like an unnecessary lore drop. It was like, okay, we're going to drop some lore, but it actually applies to the story. The one weird thing from this episode was, not weird thing, but slightly annoying thing was the battle with the gendarmerie, the Kempe. Now that could have been easily dealt with. Yes, it felt cool to see the cavalry arrive with King Kadan and stuff like that, but it was a bit annoying how, these kind of battles keep reoccurring in the series when you know that Goku and the others are just so much stronger than them. Now, I'm not saying that, these pointless, like these once a week battles are like, a horrible thing, but it's when the characters act as if they're in actual danger, when they can pull out a transformation. That's what pisses people off. Like, that's the thing that gets to people. When characters, and this is a problem that, exists post Frieza because that's when the SS transformations occur. When these characters can just bust out transformations and end these guys, there's no point of having these battles. Now, it's one thing when you have Goku saying, oh, I like the thrill of a fight. Like, of course he's going to want to test out his opponent. That's different from him actually feeling like, okay, these guys are a threat and they're actually hurting me to the point where Vegeta needs to eat a Medibug. How about you transform? You know, that would solve all your problems. But, you know, it kind of just drags to a degree. Like, the fighting's cool, but it drags. Hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Like, there's no need to do this. Unless, like, when it's a situation like this, stop being stupid. Transform. Like, when they got you on the ropes, I've said like so many times in this past 30 seconds, but when your opponent's got you on the ropes, what are you going to do? Just take the beating and, you know, hope something will change? Or are you just going to transform and overpower them? Which one makes more sense? And, you know, it would have made more sense in that way if they transformed first and then they were still getting beaten down, because you like the gendarmerie, I said like again, but the gendarmerie, they're not seen as legitimate threats. Of course, like no one's looking at them to be legitimate threats. So when you see Goku and the others having trouble with them, you know they can handle them because you've seen them handle them multiple times in episodes before. So that defeats the whole the purpose of them not transforming. Well, it makes what happens in this episode look dumb when he could have just transformed. And if he transformed beforehand and they were still getting beaten up, then it would have been an issue. Then it would have been something that people could say, okay, these guys are serious. Maybe the ones from the third and second Demon World weren't, but these first Demon Realm ones, they're serious. They're up to something. And that would have made this scene so much better. And then when the cavalry arrives and then they beat them, it would have been way more satisfying. See all these ideas I'm coming up with? But yeah, that's the episode review. Dragon Ball Daima episode 15 was fine. Episode 16's looking to focus on Deges. He's got a gun to Dende's head. Stay tuned for that. I'll see y'all next week. And check out all my videos and the Easter eggs for episode 15 of Daima. I'll see y'all later.